world's oldest president is running again. His name is Paul Biya. And guess how old he is? 92 years. He is older than the atomic bomb, older than space travel, older than the United Nations, and of course, the computer and the internet.
This is the last time I'm vying for president in Uganda. I will never vie again after 2026.
We are gathered at a time when Africa must decide, do we continue to live under the shadow of foreign powers, or do we rise and take our place as a free and sovereign people? I speak today for Burkina Faso, I speak for Mali, I speak for Niger, I speak for every African nation who...
Why is the youngest continent on earth still ruled by some of the oldest men alive? In Cameroon, Uganda, Nigeria, and Equatorial Guinea, we see presidents in their 70s, 80s, even 90s. Meanwhile, in the Sahel, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, young leaders like Ibrahim Traore, Assimi Goita, and Ibrahim Traore are standing up for Africa's sovereignty. Stay with me, because this is not just about age. It's about whether Africa's future belongs to youthful vision or to elder rulers clinging to power. And before we go deep, hit that like button so YouTube knows Africa's voice must be heard.
In Cameroon, the world's oldest president is running again. His name is Paul Biya. And guess how old he is? 92 years. He is older than the atomic bomb, older than space travel, older than the United Nations, and of course, the computer and the internet. Plus, he's been president since 1982. Millennial, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, it doesn't matter. Everyone was born under President Biya. But he's not done yet. Last week, he announced his intention to run again. The elections are scheduled in October. Cameroon elects presidents for 7 years, and Paul Biya is the favorite. So he could be president until 99 years of age. This is not ambition, this is not service, this is hunger for power. Let's take a quick look at his career. Biya was born when Cameroon was still a French colony. He finished his higher studies in France. After that, he entered government service. In 1975, Biya was appointed Cameroon's prime minister. In 1982, the president suddenly resigned, so constitutionally, the job fell to him. And since then, a lot has changed. Biya faced a coup attempt. The presidential term was extended, multiple parties were allowed, term limits were abolished. Yet one thing never changed, and that is the president. Clearly, the people have become fed up. In the 1992 election, around 19% of the voters did not vote. By 2018, this number had risen to 46%. So simply put, the people are disenchanted. 1/3 of the country lives on less than $2 a day. Corruption is rampant and security is fleeting. So how does Biya win every time? Because he controls the game. The Election Commission is headed by his ally, so the game is rigged in his favor. Apparently, his biggest challenge this time is the young voter. I wonder why. Cameroon's median age is 18. Around 60% of the population is under 25 years of age, so naturally there is a gulf. His team is using social media to reach out to young voters, but most are not convinced. They don't even care about the process anymore. And this problem is not limited to Cameroon. Africa itself has so many examples. Zimbabwe had Robert Mugabe. He ruled from 1980 to 2017. That's 37 years of uninterrupted rule until he was forced out. Equatorial Guinea has had the same president since 1982. Uganda has had the same president since 1986.
This is the last time I'm vying for president in Uganda. I will never vie again after 2026. So I urge all Ugandans to come out in large numbers and vote for me for the very last time. I have few projects that I want to finish.
When asked why at 86 he's still seeking to continue serving, the general says he still has unfinished business for his constituency, going on to list some top priorities.
President Museveni is presiding over a cabinet of monkeys grabbing bananas on the roadside. And he cannot do anything about it because of his greed for power, because of patronage. He has no capacity to fight corruption. And that one, I would dare anyone to challenge me that President Museveni can fight corruption in this country. He cannot.
In the 1970s, the average world leader was in their mid-50s. After the 70s, it started rising. By the 2000s, leaders started pushing 60, and in this decade, they've crossed it. The current average is around 62 years. Now, we could debate why this is happening. Maybe younger people are not interested in politics, maybe the pandemic called for experienced hands, or maybe the rising geopolitical tensions did. Whatever the reason, we need a solution. Like all jobs and sectors, there must be a generational shift in politics. If not, policies will be stuck in the past, and that's not ageist. That is the truth. Every country should find its own solution for this problem, maybe term limits, maybe age limits, maybe internal party rules, something that will nudge the needle in the right direction.
What does it mean to have a world run by old people? Now, maybe in school, maybe at home you've been taught that old people are wise. They're tolerant. They're generous. They're benevolent. No, guys. No. The difference between these three generations, young, mature, and elderly, are pretty stark. If you're young, you're rebellious. You want to change the system. If you're mature, you want things to move slowly, okay? But if you're elderly, you're reactionary, meaning you don't want anything to change. If you change anything, they get upset and slap you. That's reactionary. Young people are creative. Mature people want growth. But elder people care first and foremost about safety. Young people are open-minded. Mature people want consensus, meaning they want everyone to get along. But elder people are stubborn. They want things their way. So, we are now living in a gerontocracy which is ruled by elderly people, okay? So we're going to live in a reactionary, stubborn system only concerned about the safety of these people. And so what does that mean? Well, it means that the world will go into lockdown. When there's a virus, guess what? We're all going to have to shut down because old people are afraid of catching germs. It will digital currency. The idea of digital currency is the idea of financial repression. So they're trying to eliminate cash because with cash, there's freedom. You can do whatever you want with cash. You can buy whatever you want for how much you want with cash. With digital currency, all your transactions will be limited and monitored. Okay? So in the future, you will not be able to buy video games because that's bad for you. Oh, microchip implants, guys. Right? Isn't that great? Before you had cell phones, then you had facial recognition, and in the future you have implants, microchip implants. That's not the prisons, guys. Okay? Because elderly people are afraid of criminals. And also, prisoners are free labor. Isn't that great? Oh, and one more thing. War after war after war. Alright? This is what it means by death by gerontocracy. This is what it means to live in a world governed by elderly people. Elderly people are perfectly happy to send young people to die for their glory. Alright? Okay. Pretty depressing, but don't worry. Things will get even more depressing as we go along. Alright?
In Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu is officially 73, though many Nigerians suspect he may be older. He represents the recycling of the same old political class. In Equatorial Guinea, Teodoro Obiang is 82. He has ruled since 1979, making him the longest-serving president in Africa. Family, tell me in the comments, do these men truly represent the hopes of Africa's youth, or are they blocking the future? Now, let's look at the Alliance of Sahel States, AES. In Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traore is just 36 years old, the youngest head of state in the world. He speaks boldly about Africa's independence and resource control.
Brothers and sisters of Africa, leaders and citizens of our beloved continent, I stand here not just as the president of Burkina Faso, but as the voice of a people who have decided to stand tall, refusing to bow to injustice, refusing to kneel before oppression. We are gathered at a time when Africa must decide, do we continue to live under the shadow of foreign powers, or do we rise and take our place as a free and sovereign people? I speak today for Burkina Faso, I speak for Mali, I speak for Niger, I speak for every African nation whose dignity has been trampled by the same powers that pretend to be our friends while stealing our resources, our future, and our hope. We have been told lies for decades. We were told that the West, that France came to bring development. But what did they bring? They brought chains for our hands, laws for our lands that served them, not us, and debts we could never pay. They came not to build us up, but to drain the lifeblood of our nations and to keep us dependent, weak, and silent. Burkina Faso is no longer silent. Mali is no longer silent. Niger is no longer silent. And soon all Africa will speak with one voice. This is Pan-Africanism, the belief that our strength lies in our unity, that no African nation should stand alone in the face of injustice, that the freedom of one African country means nothing if its neighbors remain in chains. We, the people of the Sahel, have suffered attacks, sanctions, and threats, not because we did wrong, but because we dared to say no to exploitation.
In Mali, Assimi Goita, at 41, has pushed out foreign military bases and declared Africa must defend Africa. In Niger, Ibrahim Traore, though older than Traoré and Goita, still represents fresh energy. At early 60s, he defied France and chose Pan-African solidarity with Mali and Burkina Faso. Family, if you respect what AES is building, unity, dignity, sovereignty, drop it in the comments right now. Here's the truth. The elder rulers, Biya, Museveni, Tinubu, Obiang, are clinging to power, protecting elites, and bowing to foreign influence. The AES leaders, Traoré, Goita, Traoré, are talking about sovereignty, dignity, and Africa for Africans. Isn't it ironic? Africa, the youngest continent, is led by presidents old enough to be grandfathers to the people they govern. Yet it is the younger leaders who speak with courage, vision, and defiance against neocolonial control. Do you think it's time for generational change in Africa? Let us know in the comments below. Family, here is the question for you. Should Africa's destiny remain in the hands of old men in power, or is it time to hand the baton to a new generation of leaders? Smash that like button so more Africans see this message. Subscribe to Afriscope TV and join the family that refuses to be silenced. And if you believe in this mission to amplify Africa's truth, expose neocolonialism, and inspire change, please support us through Super Thanks. Your contribution helps us stay independent and keep producing Pan-African content that speaks truth to power. Disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed in this video are based on publicly available information, news sources, and independent analysis. Afriscope TV does not claim to represent any government, political party, or movement. Our goal is to amplify African voices, educate the public, and spark meaningful conversations on global and continental issues. We encourage our audience to engage critically, verify facts independently, and participate in peaceful, lawful civic discourse. This content is for informational and educational purposes only.